All right, check mic, check 1 2, mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2. I want to thank you for being on my email subscription list and for signing up on YouTube and all that jazz. I'm making this video in celebration of my small and beginning. My name is Matthew John Armstrong, and I recently hit 200 YouTube subscribers. By the way, if you ended up watching this video without subscribing to my YouTube channel, that's probably my fault. But to be a part of this, you're supposed to be a subscriber to my YouTube channel, so you know what to do. Now you're on the email list, so good. Where was I? Oh yeah, the small beginnings. Yeah, so even though 200 subscribers on YouTube is like nothing in terms of YouTube success, it means I'll take it as I'm one of the best kept secrets, don't you agree? The reality is though, I see all 200 plus subscribers as just as important to my success as if it was 2 million. And not only is it practical because you gotta have 200 before you can get to 2,000 and 2,000 before you can get to 20,000. But beyond that, I don't just see you as a subscriber. I see you as an individual whose life is more important to the rest of us than you likely even realize. I truly value each and every one of you. And you know what? I like people like you. I actually love people like you. And as cheesy as it sounds, I'm a huge fan of cheese, by the way. It's not cheesy. I'm sorry, it's true. And you know why I can say that I love people like you? Because, sucker, I feel like it. No, really. It's not as dramatic as it sounds. Actually, the reality is my content sort of naturally weeds out the people who I wouldn't want to be around. I mean, think about it. Who is it that you think would actually be interested in me and the kind of content I create? Huh? Yeah, people like you. We resonate. And you might be far from where you want to be in life, or you might be someone crushing it like a homeless dude collecting aluminum cans for some beer money. It don't matter. Either way, we have some pretty awesome things in common, and that's obvious. And the fact that you took the next step and got on my email list is proof to me that we were meant to be. At least that's the way I'm taking it, okay? And if that wasn't the case, why, for God's sake, are you wasting your time listening to me? Because are you in trouble or something? Are you punishing yourself? Well, hang on a minute. I'm probably good for you, so if I ask you to stay, would that be considered tough love? Maybe you need more grains in your diet, a little more fiber. Let's get the crap out of your life. Anyway, back to the point of the matter. But first, can I tell you something that I think is awesome? This, right here, me and you right now. This is really something. See, we're cooking up something that's out of this world, folks, and you don't even know it. See, there's billions of people on this world I want to reach with the creativity and love. There's people I want to inspire. People healing cancer, facing the tragedy of life, burdened with the failures and the regrets and self-destructive patterns that keep us weak and stuck. People who are choosing to live. People also who are choosing to become fully alive. People who are reaching beyond themselves and surrendering their pride to this crazy little thing called love. There are billions of people who I know are worth fighting for and who deserve to discover their true worth. And you know what? You were one of those people, but you were different. You were part of a much smaller group for me, a people I affectionately refer to as my tribe. And this is the beginning of something very unique, friends. It's exciting, but it's also the beginning of something challenging. I don't have it all figured out, but I want to be upfront with you, okay? I have big plans for it, and some of these plans are going to include you in ways you may not even think is possible right now. And as for what the heck we're doing right now, this one-way combo, I plan and intend this to grow into something more akin to a personal life leadership, learning, creative, collaborative community of ordinary radicals who want to live wholeheartedly and fully alive and make a difference and do something that matters. Anyway, it's a mouthful, it's good, and it's true. That's what I intend you and I to create together. And whatever that is, there are going to be real conversations, that real as in, people don't normally talk like that, but I wish they did type of conversations. We're going to do experiments and social gatherings online and offline. You might see me in person, sucker. I want our tribe to be a place where I'm trusted and where I can trust that when I need to share ideas with you that need feedback, if I'm confused or needing your gut level honesty, that I can count on you to provide it. You know, constructively, please. This smaller group that we're a part of, this will be a lot more challenging for us both. And I am going to fully embrace the mess that it means to lead this thing as best I can. And please expect me to be flawless. That way I can prove to you that I know the future. Because I am going to let you down. I'm not perfect, and I don't want to be. I am free, and I'm free. Freedom is messy. And as free as I am someone that is completely capable of mucking up things on my best days. I'm like you. And so, I'm not afraid of failure. And that's why I'm free. And I'm going to teach you later on why we are a group of people that truly celebrate our failures. And I mean really celebrate it. Like, woohoo, sucker, I just failed. Anyway, where am I going with all that? This is almost done. Yeah, one more thing. What I'm looking to do with you intentionally, I'm going to be, we're going to be making some history together, okay? And as uniquely challenging as it is, some of the stuff is going to make you uncomfortable. Like, you probably might want to unsubscribe at some point. And that'll be a good sign for me, because the people that stick around, I know, are in it to win it, to go all the way, to go deep, to grow roots. And that's what I'm looking to do with you. But let's talk about a turning point, shall we? See, there's a thing we experience in life that sets us on a new path. It's called a turning point. And I'm a sucker for words, and I see meaning everywhere. So I want to talk a little bit about that concept, turning point. And first of all, let's be clear. I'm completely biased when it comes to you. I believe in you. I believe you are likely either in the middle of some transformation in your life, you're in some type of turning point, or you are due for one. And I have an agenda here. I'm instigating a turning point in your life. And it can be a turning point in your relationship to yourself, your healing, your career, your family, or whatever. It can be a turning point for everything at once. I've been fortunate to have 2 super major turning points like that in my life. And I'm living through one right now. And as each of you should know, my perspective in life have been revolutionized by this thing this gift called cancer. It's so real to me. It's the reason I can confidently call my first published book that's in the works to come out this year, This Gift Called Cancer. You're gonna freaking love it, by the way. I'll need your support at some point on that. Anyway, I want to tell you briefly about another turning point in my life and something I learned. It'll be featured in a lot of my upcoming work in the future. You see, this experience with cancer right now is like, I call it my second near-death experience, and this one is different because it's like in slow motion. The first major turning point, major, life-changing, crazy, uniquely crazy, happened when I was 19 years old. See, I nearly died from complications during a simple medical procedure to rescue me out of a mix of a bad trip and a drug overdose. I was lying on the operating table getting the standard fare of charcoal and the other things to help me detox when I suddenly had a severe reaction to the drugs, and my lungs completely collapsed. The doctor said if I came out of it, I could be half brain dead. They thought they could lose me. What happened next is the craziest thing I've ever witnessed. The craziest. See, I'm one of those people that went to the other side. I went into another dimension of reality. And before I got into the light, which was amazing, I went into the dark. And what I experienced there was so profound, specifically for teaching me the power of agreement. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. How the power of agreement is key to your turning point. Now that I've got you interested, let's take a short break, and I thought I would share a rough draft of a song I've written called Hope. So, check it out. Oh no! Hold on. What did I do with the words? On the way home, we thought of you, your beautiful smile and eyes of truth, reflecting like the light of moon, enlightened courage to make it through hope. On the way home, the stars went dim. We stumble through the thick and thin. How surprising to find you, friend. The further out you took us, further in hope. Last verse. On the way home, with nothing left, exhausted and beat, you brought me rest, held me gently to your chest, felt your heartbeat, I breathed your breath. Ba-da-da-da-da-la. 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 Hope with us here, hope with us now, hope with us here, hope with us here, hope with us now, hope with us here. It's hope. Thank you. At the end it says, "He held me gently to your chest. I felt your heartbeat and I breathed your breath." Hope. That's what I've done. So getting back to the power of agreement, I'm not going to spend too much time on the details of the near-death experience here, but I'll tell you, I am looking forward to telling you the whole thing in the future with all the details. The main thing I want you to get from it here, these dogs are... Okay, it's not quite working with the dogs, okay? Whether you believe this actually happened to me or not, consider taking the insights I claim it taught me and trying it on yourself. See if there's anything to it and whether it helps you. You don't have to believe my experience. All I'm asking is to be, all I'm asking is that you're open to believing your own and be willing to try practicing something as if it could help and see what happens. Okay. So after I left my body on the operating table, I went into this other dimension, right? And it wasn't pleasant at all. I did get into the light later, but the dark, the negativity it represented was absolutely horrible, and I was being pulled further into the darkness by these beings who were hell-bent, pun intended, on convincing me that there was no hope. I was already dead, they were telling me, and I had best admit that I was a failure and just give up. There was no chance that I was going to live. The more I listened to them, the deeper I went into the darkness. I mean, it's hard to even imagine what this was like. The way I communicated, how deeply they affected me with these lies that I was already dead and that I was destined for the darkness, that I had made choices that put me beyond hope, how I was a failure at everything, how I couldn't change and I would never be anything different than a failure. Trying to describe the nature of that experience in this other reality is like trying to describe color to a blind person, but the meaning of it is something you can grasp. See, at a certain point I started defying them and actually telling these demonic entities, no, I disagreed. Isn't that cute? So I was gonna try to take you out here and finish up the video, but it's too windy. So I'm gonna find another location for you. This location didn't work out. That's okay. I refused to agree with them and something happened, something changed. This was their power play. This was their game. This meant that whatever intent they had for me relied on my own participation. They couldn't win or have power over me unless I agreed with them. Now, as convincing as they were, trust me, you won't believe how far they pushed it. I simply stopped participating or agreeing. I started disagreeing, actually. I even boldly started to say no. And as I did, I began gaining power, and I even started rising up out of that darkness. They started losing their grip on me, and once I knew their game, no matter how desperate they became, I already knew their game was over. I had a choice, and I was making a new choice as I fought for my soul. I cried out in their face, there is hope. I am not dead yet. I can change. I will change. I will live. Now here's the thing you might not be able to handle at first. Those same sort of negative beings are commonly experienced by us in our everyday life. And okay, take it however you want, okay? I don't care if you believe it or not. Maybe you can say it's just negative thoughts, or maybe it's your shadow self, or maybe there really are other types of consciousness that feed on negativity. It doesn't matter. Whatever you believe about that isn't the point. What matters is that you understand the power of agreement and the way it shows up in your life, because I promise you, it shows up all the time. See, after the near-death experience, I started discovering how many things that happened in that other dimension related directly to life here in this dimension. I battled these voices of negativity for a few years after my out-of-body experience. I know it's something that many of you experience on a day-to-day basis, but I discovered that just like in my near-death experience, I'd given room to that negative influence in my mind by unconsciously agreeing with it. It often comes to us just like our own thoughts. That's the thing. That's why it's so deceptive. And the thing is, you think you are your thoughts. When you think you are your thoughts, you don't realize that you actually have a choice. And it's easy to give in to the type of thinking that cripples you, that holds you down, that holds you back from being fully able to express yourself. You need to be aware of this. You need to be aware that the power of agreement is the power to connect. It's what forms a connection. And what you are connected to, you are influenced by. And those influences become habits. And those habits become character. And eventually, without even noticing, you become that same influence yourself. It's deep stuff. It's an aha moment waiting for you to happen upon. It's the reason I can look back and see how I became the devil in the details in many situations where I was the negative influence. Let me tell you, before I was transformed by the love of God, my mom didn't know if she was going to get a call from the police or the hospital when it came to me, okay? I know firsthand how radically people can change when they fully experience the power of God. It's wild, and let me just tell you, God's not what you think, so it's an experience that truly deserves the definition of awesome. Now, the same power of agreement works in the positive as well. So imagine for a moment, how might things change in your life if you stopped passively agreeing with the negative voices and started choosing on purpose to only agree with the positive ones? The power of agreement is the power to connect, remember? And by being connected by choice to the good, the positive for your life, what happens? You start to be influenced by it more and more. And like the downward spiral, so it is with the upward spiral. The connection turns to influence, and the influence turns to habit, and the habit turns into who you are. And let me tell you, who you are is the meaning that matters most. You are the moral of your story. So, what sort of moral do you want to be? The positive habits and character traits that might seem like a tug of war for you now can become as natural for you as breathing. I'm not kidding. It's crazy when I look back at how negative habits I had thought I could never imagine living without. Now those same negative habits are so foreign to my life, it would be a struggle for me to do them. The war is over, and I won. That's what can happen when you really practice the power of agreement in developing the person you really want to become. Of course, if you're still connected to the disempowering dark side of that coin, agreeing with the good might leave you feeling like you're just spinning your wheels. I did that for years. Like no matter how hard you try to move forward, you still aren't free. So, what voices of negativity do you need to stop agreeing with inside your own mind? Critical, the judgmental, the negative of yourself and of others. Say out loud, I choose to take responsibility for my thoughts. I will begin choosing which thoughts and voices I agree with and which ones I don't. I will choose to agree with the good for my growth, and I no longer will agree with the destructive or negative voices that put me down. Actually, go back and say that, would you? You might want to go over those again in the future, by the way. On a practical note, when the thought comes to you that you don't like or you don't want to agree with, you just simply watch it. Watch it in your mind. Recognize the thought is not you. And knowing that it's not you, you can choose to tell it and tell yourself, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with you. And then watch what happens as you slowly disconnect from those influences. Okay, wow. We've said a lot. Here's one last step, okay, that takes this to the next level. And it's something that can radically change your future. What negative influences outside your mind, outside yourself, do you need to disconnect from? Are there negative people, destructive places, harmful things you feel ready to disconnect from that you no longer agree with? If you are ready to take account for these things and act like you are worth taking care of, action is the only form of communication that counts here. So practice agreeing with the good that comes to your heart and mind first, and then act. Take a step. Welcome to my tribe. It's great to be alive, isn't it? Thanks for watching, and I hope you agree that this teaching about the power of agreement was absolutely amazing, life-changing, and transformative. If you don't think it was, then I choose to disagree. Ha! And if you are one of those rare individuals who actually chooses to apply what I'm sharing with you, I want to know it. And I want to hear how it goes in a few weeks, because with some practice, you will notice a difference in your life. Send me your stories, your thoughts, your feedback, and your questions to my personal email address, livingparable@gmail.com. It's just like it sounds, livingparable, P-A-R-A-B-L-E @gmail.com. Take heart and take courage when you face discomfort. That's how you know you're actually working on something worth it. Take pride in being the type of person that's willing to do hard things, and that's always going to be relative to your own circumstance, okay? It's hard to ride a bike when you've never done it before. The key is, it should be uncomfortable. So no matter what it is that's hard for you where you're at, even if it's something that's easy for the next guy or gal, you choose to have a mindset that embraces your own discomfort with a sort of realization that you're becoming your potential, knowing full well it's the small changes over time that lead to the big successes, friends. Spread the word about our tribe. Get ready to howl in the next video. And by the way, you can buy a shirt at my website. That helps me. The GoFundMe gifts help me even more. I love you, and bye-bye. On our way home, with nothing left, exhausted and beat, you brought me rest, held me gently to your chest. I felt your heartbeat. I breathed your breath. Hope. There's hope, friends.